Welcome, everyone, to Who Needs a Film Critic? I'm your host, William Yelton, and today we will be talking about episode 1 of The White Lotus. If you're new to this channel, the concept of the show is simple. We take a cross-section of society from all different backgrounds, professions, ages, ethnicities, and geographic locations, and get their raw reactions after watching a movie or a television show for the first time. And we hear their raw reactions and opinions to what they've just seen. These panelists are unspoiled to the rest of the season. All they have seen is episode 1 of White Lotus. Some of you on the panel might have loved what you've seen, while others might have hated it, and that's okay. As with any discussion on this channel, all viewpoints are respected, but debate is encouraged. When I say encourage, please, by all means, debate. At the end of this panel, you will each send me your review of the episode 1 to 5, 1 being you hated it, and 5 being you loved it. Once all the results are in, I will tally up your rankings and give this episode an average score provided by you, the panel. So, let's get into the discussion of episode 1 of White Lotus, entitled Arrivals. As a new wave of guests arrive at the White Lotus and get settled in, the resort manager and staff deal with the needy customers and inexperienced staff. So let's start this conversation at the very beginning of the episode. Let's take a look back at the first scene and discuss.
You headed home?
Yeah.
Which hotel were you at?
White Lotus.
Our guide told us someone was killed there.
Bodies on our plane.
Well, other than that, did you have a good vacation?
It was my honeymoon.
Where's your wife?
Yeah, where's your wife?
No offense. Leave me the fuck alone.
All right, so start the conversation off of, how was the hook? How did you feel coming into this new show with this opening scene? Who wants to start?
The first scene was just, it set the stage. I love it because it's set the stage. It's dynamic, it's evil, it's cringeworthy, it's almost awkward. And I think an overarching theme of the episode is a lot of kind of awkward moments that make you
Generally, what he was saying in that scene is something that you'd probably think but not say. And I just find that to be hilarious, right? Because and it's so familiar. We've all been in that situation. We've all been in an airport waiting for our flight, and it's the awkwardness of sitting next to someone and not recognizing them or pretending to not recognize them. So having that conversation go downhill just reminds you why we don't know who that person is.
So I just was in a situation like that this past weekend, flying out of Wilmington to go to a funeral. And it's like people are excited, you're with all different people. Like one person, she was on her way to Vegas and she's like all excited telling me about it. And I'm happy for her. And then she's like, so where are you headed? And I'm like, oh, a funeral. And then, the whole mood just changes. So in that moment, I immediately was thinking that it was the wife that was dead. Now I'm kind of switched, but I'm like, oh my gosh, they're talking about this. And his wife is being loaded onto the plane.
This is definitely leading us to believe that it's his wife that's dead. But it's probably not. It's probably not his wife.
Hey, quick poll.
Yeah.
Who here thinks that the person in the casket is his wife? Raise your hand.
I did immediately.
One,
first-
two,
immediately.
three, 4. All right, we got 4 people.
Initially I thought it was his wife, but then the later that I watched the show and I saw his reactions to certain situations and the way he treated his wife and people that were inside of the hotel, it's like, maybe they just had a really bad fight and that's why they're not there. That's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
Pick it. Explain. You think it's the wife still?
Yes, I mean, the reason why I thought it was the wife was because my wife has been in this situation. I mean, her husband died. And it's always the question of when she was questioned, she told me about all this. When she was questioned, it was always one of those of hesitancy and pulling back and just, wanting to blow people off because you just don't want to be put in that situation time and time again. So when it came up and I saw that, it was like, that's his wife. Now I got to find out what's happened to her.
It's never going to be the obvious thing. Like, it's so obvious that it's his wife. It's like, obviously that it like can't be that. And what I really like this scene is that it builds a lot of intrigue, like what actually happened here. And it also kind of like makes you feel bad for this guy, where like later on when you watch the episode, you're like, this guy's such a tool. Like, I hate this guy. But at least now you're like, aw, his wife's died. But it's like, no, she probably didn't. She probably left your ass. And like, she didn't die. Probably somebody else died, or something else happened.
If I was just regularly viewing it, I'd be like, oh my God, she probably died. But I just figured that's too easy. Then what's the mystery? What's the journey? What's the suspense?
True.
But
But the counter argument is that sometimes the butler did do it, right? Like, it does happen.
Sometimes.
Cam, you're raising your hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anybody has ever watched a drom-com like Desperate Housewives, they make it obvious so that people go, no, it can't be him because it's not that obvious, you know, and it ends up being them. They've got to build something around that character. And that's what they're doing right here. They're literally building it around him as maybe not a killer, but maybe an accidental death that's on his shoulders.
For me, the best way to hook me into a show, dead body right off the bat. And I was one of those people that, you know, from the first 5 minutes, I'm thinking, oh, it's him. You know, he doesn't want to say anything. He's playing with the wedding ring. He's somber. But by the end of the episode, I'm with Anissa. Like, I don't think that she's in the casket. I think it's someone else.
I think the wife may have killed someone. I'm thinking it's one of them little young girls that was questioning her, like had something to do with him, and he's like sad or confused because my wife is actually locked up because she killed one of these young girls. And he's looking at their body being put in the plane. That was where my mind was going.
Those girls deserved it.
LaToya, I'm really glad that you brought that up because that leads us right into our next scene. So let's take a look and then discuss.
I saw you guys on the boat.
Where are you from?
New York. I'm gonna move into my husband's.
Yeah, what does he do?
He's in real estate.
What do you do?
I'm a journalist.
Where'd you go to school?
SUNY Potsdam.
Won't he pay off your loans?
Yeah, he could.
Of course, because he's super rich. Congrats.
And your mom, she looks really familiar.
Her mom's the CFO of Poof.
Nicole Mossbacher.
Oh my God.
These two girls are just very hateful.
I don't like the scene. I think it's very uncomfortable and cringeworthy. But I guess that's the intention. I hate these girls and everything about them. I remember being a sophomore and I don't think I was this horrible. Anyway, but I think Rachel's character is really unusual because I'll explain why. Because she can feel their hatred and judgmentalness, and she doesn't like them. They don't like her, and she feels that. And when somebody is like judging you for your life decisions, you tend to like cover up your life decisions. Like, oh, how did you meet him? Oh, I love him so much. Oh, well, how long did you start dating ago? Oh, you can answer the question, but then they say, how'd you know he was the one? Oh, I fell in love. You don't just say, oh, it was weird. He kind of wanted to move fast. That's like not how people generally act. You don't just like come to these revelations in front of like antagonistic people, you know? So like, it was kind of weird the way that this character was written.
I was really into Rachel's and how she was, you know, basically reacting to what they were saying and how they were applauding him. And I really loved, you know, she came in sort of all dressed up and we assumed that, you know, she's a modest person. But immediately after, they were like, oh my God, he's so hot. You scored. That's when she showed them that, no. I'm the prize. I'm also hot. You can also look at me. I'm not who you think I am, bitch. Basically, now, you know, her body, it puts her in competition with the rest of them. And that's when she becomes a threat.
I was a sophomore in college. I just don't remember it that well, but I wasn't that bitchy, but at the same time, I was in a sorority and I was, you know, and you looked at people different and somebody a little bit older and you go, yeah, whatever. She doesn't have it. And then she takes off that damn polka dot blouse that was like uglier than sin with those shorts, but beside the point. And all of a sudden, guess what? She has got you beat. That's all there is to it. And I think that it was a slap in the face to them to realize that 19 is not all the answers. It really isn't.
I mean, the girls seem pretty bratty right off the bat. And so when I'm watching the scene, my first impression was, okay, like it's sounding like an interview, like they're interviewing Rachel for something. I'm like starting to feel like kind of bad for her. But then when she starts talking about one of the girls' mom and that she's a journalist, and I immediately thought, oh, like, it sounds like she's trying to find an angle or a way in to possibly talk to the CEO mother.
So in that in that mindset, Jorge, do you think that she knew clearly who the mom was and was just acting?
I think she knew exactly who she was, and she saw the daughter, and then that was like her way in to talk to the CEO mom. And so I immediately thought, oh, she's a journalist and she's trying to find her way in to do some kind of like article or expose on the mom. And the girls who were bratty, then I instantly thought, oh, maybe they get this a lot. Maybe they get people who like contact them or try to get to talk to them because they know who the mother is.
Not to defend the girls and their behavior, because I think Paul and Olivia are your stereotypical privileged teenage or sophomores, but you saw how Olivia shut down as soon as Rachel asked her about her mother, and just didn't really, almost like she's getting that all the time. She's maybe trying to cry out for attention herself, and people are always just, it's all about her mom, it's all about her mom. And going back to that initial scene too, where she's calling her mother horrible names on the boat ride in, there's some kind of a poor relationship there that maybe we're not seeing the other side of yet.
And then like, even when they're in the hotel prior, like how disrespectful she is to her mom and her dad, and then like puts her brother like in like the closet. She's just like such like a rude, disrespectful human being that it's like, I don't necessarily think that she might have been protecting her mom from someone trying to get in with their family. I do think she's just a brat.
But come on, Gabby, we've all put siblings in closets before, right?
I mean, it depends. I'm the younger of the siblings. That happened to me, but like, no.
But it's like interesting the way in which Rachel reacted here. Like, what the hell is she doing? Like spilling her story here to these little brats.
I felt like she was crying out for attention. She's obviously not getting it from her husband. And it's like she has this story to tell and goes into this hole where she's, kind of almost giving up on her dreams. She married this man and they're, well, can't he pay off your loans? And I feel like she's going through this story herself where she had all these ambitions and she kind of put them on the back burner for her husband and his goals.
She's actually my favorite character in this opening episode. I love everything about her. I like how she's...
Sorry to interrupt. Raise your hand if Rachel's your favorite character.
I don't know if I can
1, 2...
Is it okay? I don't have any favorites.
I don't have one yet.
That's okay.
It's
You hate them
premature,
all.
but
All right, Stan, continue.
Because the thing is, the opening episode, and I didn't touch on it because a lot of speakers have already got to the point, but she's dead to us and to what Mike White wants us to think. She's dead. So I love her. Everything about how she's going to handle that asshole husband of hers is going to be hilarious to see. I love her.
Stan, thank you for bringing that up. That brings us right into our next scene. Let's take a look and discuss.
Mr. Patton, finding everything to your liking? Actually, I think you put us in the wrong room. We were supposed to be in the honeymoon suite.
You're paying for a presidential ocean view suite. The Palm, that's a very nice room.
It's really nice.
But no plunge pool. Maybe I should call my mother?
What do you think she'll say?
I think she's going to say we're in the wrong room.
I prefer the Palm to the Pineapple, don't you, Lani?
The Palm.
That's a bummer.
Thank you.
I think I might have fucked up and double booked the Pineapple suite.
Thoughts on the scene?
Okay. I mean, and at this point in time, I related with this guy because I want to get my money's worth, or I want to get what I think I'm supposed to get. That's just the way I am. I mean, I've been around this world too many times to not get what I think I'm supposed to be getting. And so for him to come up and do that, it's just like, and my wife would have been the same way. She's like, really, I don't want to do this. I'm here. I got to listen to this and see what's going on. So it was just so funny to picture that in my head already and knowing what I would do in that situation.
LaToya, you were nodding, I believe?
Yes, because like he's saying that would have been him saying, no, I want what I want. That would be me. And my husband would be the one on the background saying, don't say nothing. Don't say no, because I know that even if I didn't pay for it, I want it. I want the pool by the right inside the room. So I kind of felt him. I was upset too. I was mad for him. Like, give him the room.
I was on my honeymoon and we went to Greece and we had a pool. We had a plunge pool we were supposed to have it on our balcony. And when we got there, it wasn't there. And I went to the front desk and I was like, excuse me. And I was very polite, but I was like, listen, I'm really sorry, but this is really fucking expensive. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I picked this out meticulously. I spent a lot of time planning this honeymoon and like, I want the room I selected.
Yes, absolutely. Money is a hot commodity these days. You want your value for your money. But at the way the guy kind of said it was so kind of pompous and unpalatable in the sense. And I completely agree with Armand in this case because yes, he fucked up. He definitely did fuck up. He double booked the pineapple suite with a German couple. And obviously Armand has flaws too. He could be like, listen, I'm so sorry, and like always in customer service, you just go, I'm sorry. Like diffuse. But there's still a way to like talk to human beings.
But Armand is making it like that guy messed it up. Armand should have taken responsibility. Like, I'm really sorry.
I agree.
I can do. Let me give you some free food.
Yeah,
He's saying you did it wrong.
Try to fix it.
I love Armand in this scene because we as viewers a lot of the scenes have been set. We can tell that Shane's kind of an asshole, and sweet Rachel is like the complete opposite. And Armand's kind of like the likable villain where he's doing the wrong thing, but it's his character. Like, and he's dealt with Shane his whole time at the resort. Like, he knows an asshole when he sees one. And so he knows that he's not going to give him the satisfaction of that he
fixing the situation.
Yeah. So
I get that in customer service too. It's like, I don't want to have to go in and fix. If someone's going to be rude to me and be a jerk, I actually just had someone yell at me, cussing at me, calling me the black hard N word, hard R at the end. Cause anyways, I got trespassed, but like, why does that make me ever want to like help you ever again? Why does it make me want to be nice? Why would that make me want to, like, honestly, I would never do this. I would never do this, but it makes me want to kind of spit in your food and give it to you. It's just like, you're just a rude person.
That's going to send your views up, William. Leave that right in there.
100%.
What really caught me was when Edmund was like, oh, you're going to call your mom? Oh, yeah. What is she going to say? Right? It's like, I'm going to call my mom. Every time something happens, I'm like, I'm calling my mom. She's going to fix everything for me. And then he looks at Rachel. It's like, you're going to have to deal with this for the rest of your life. It's like, this is mama's boy, and he's going to call mom every time something goes wrong to fix, have her fix it for it. And it was just like, I was just like laughing, because don't we all have known people who have been just like call their mom, and try to get everything to be fixed, even as a grown adult.
It hurts me when I keep hearing people refer to Shane as an asshole, because I'm not getting the asshole vibe, but I'm getting what Shahana said. I'm getting the mama's boy, the privileged. He's had things handed to him on a silver platter. And so he assumes that because he comes to Armand and says, this is not the right room, I will call my mom, that, oh, okay, we'll fix it for you. And he didn't get his way. So I don't necessarily think he's an asshole. I just think he's used to getting things just handed to him.
Anybody who is not an asshole that will so kindly offer to their newlywed bride, here, give me a blowjob?
Yeah.
What the hell was that? I was like, are you kidding me?
That was chop one.
But Kim, he was on the plane. He was all,
it was all horned up.
I think he said please, right? He said,
I wasn't sure if that was serious. I thought that was banter.
It came across like, I will allow you to provide me with oral sex.
Yeah.
Lucky you. And I have seen that so many times throughout this whole first half of the show. It's like, I'm trying to get you the best room. Lucky you. My mother made this reservation to get the best room. Lucky you. But the bottom line is, he works with daddy. We already established that from Rachel. He works for daddy in real estate. Mommy made the honeymoon reservation, and he's threatening to call mommy. For all we know, Rachel's dead and mommy did it. We don't know yet. She might be sitting in jail in Honolulu for all we know.
I feel like we're talking about Team Armand or Team Shane, but in this case, I
I
was
actually have
Team
experience.
Rachel.
I was
Like,
Team Rachel too.
I'm always
yeah,
Team
I
Rachel,
felt like this
Jorge.
was
She's
more
my
about like
favorite.
her rather
Yep.
than them two, because Armand was like, Armand messed up and the guy was, complaining, but the way he went about it, especially with her in the previous scene, she said, oh, we're in like a luxurious room already. This is the most luxurious place I've been. And he's like, oh, well, you don't travel much, so you wouldn't know. That was like super like condescending. And in this scene, she's trying to be more modest and be like the nice cop. But I felt more sorry for her rather than the other two.
Once again, her needs and her wants and her desires are being trampled on because dude wants to swing his dick around. And she's like, bro, I'm good. I don't need this pool. I'm happy. It's our honeymoon. And I feel once again, it was Team Rachel, where she was just kind of like, if you're trying to do this for me, which is what I think you are trying to do, I already told you I'm good. I don't need the pool by my bed.
Well, speaking of beds in strange places, I would like to talk about one more character and his relationship to his father. Let's take a look back at this particular scene and then discuss.
What? Being a man this time right now can't be easy. Why? Because we can't harass girls anymore? No. Well, yeah, I don't know, the modern world today is just so emasculating. Is this about mom making more money than you? No, it's not about that. Sorry. And I just hope that you, think of me in a positive way. Okay. I love you. I love you too.
All right. Who wants to start?
This scene made me realize that no one is having the same conversation. Like
in the show.
Everyone, in the whole show, like Rachel and Shane, it's like they're not even talking to each other. It's like they're having a conversation with themselves. And here again, the father and son, like the father is talking about, he has his own mind around his testicular possible cancer, and the son's talking about hitting on girls and mom making more money, which also made me realize like the dynamic of the whole family is the women are very strong and pushy and want to get what they want, and the men just kind of feel like useless and just there along for the ride of life.
Faced with a testicular cancer potential diagnosis with his son who died when he was his age when his dad died of potential testicular cancer that he doesn't know because he is going to ask his brother tomorrow. Like, he's in a complete mind fuck. He's like, oh my God, I have no relationship with my son. This is how my father was when I was there at his age. Like, what am I going to do? Let me take him out snorkeling to watch seaweed. Like, he doesn't even know his son enough that he's playing video games in the kitchen. Like, he doesn't know how to love his son. And his son is like amazing because he's just super chill. Like, everyone's crazy in the family except him.
Stan, being a pediatrician, if you were to make the call based on the testicles, would he have testicular cancer?
I plead the fifth because you need to get labs for that. It depends on the biopsy in the lab. So you can't make a judgment call based on the size of the ball. So the parents were just, the husband and wife were just perseverating over something they can't control because it's ultimately up to the lab to say if you are positive or not.
Did you pause the frame so that you could go get a proper investigation?
No.
From
my takeaway from that scene was that they were really small, I thought. And I'm like, he's worried about them being large with, testicular cancer, but I thought they looked small. But
I don't remember what like that many more balls look like.
Exactly.
All right, Shahana.
I can't believe we're sitting here talking about balls.
Sorry.
Shahana?
I was just saying that I don't think he cares about his son and his relationship with his son as much because his wife was the one who told him to go do it.
Yeah.
So he just went because his wife told him, which he does everything his wife does. But I feel like it's just every character feels like they're not being seen, but they're not even looking at anybody either. They're not, listening or tuning in. So I think he just did it because his wife told him to go do it and he was attempting to. But on his part, like he never had a dad growing up or knew anything about him. So he doesn't know how to be a dad.
I've got 2 sons and 3 daughters, and watching this, I was cringing the whole time because I just felt like there was no connection at all with his son. None. And yet to watch how my sons and I, or even my daughters and I react, it's a whole different story. So just feeling like he was not able to communicate with his son at all drove me nuts.
Though he he doesn't know how to connect. He was trying in his way to connect, and I think we'll see that continue. But I just found it kind of sad, and the son has no idea what's going on, but clearly the father's feeling something really deeply.
For me, it was like he's brought up to like not even show emotions, that like men aren't supposed to show like emotions at all. Like at least that's what I like my takeaway from the scene was. It's like, okay, he's trying to connect with him, but like he's not, like he's supposed to be like this macho person that you don't show emotions, you're gonna die. That's actually like, you shouldn't be worried about dying. Even his wife like is like kind of contributing to this, where it's like, why are you so worried about this? Like he sounds like he wants to show these emotions, but he's like being told like not to, and he doesn't know how to.
Jorge hit it right there. The strongest part about this scene to me is the last 5 seconds when he reaches over, puts his hand on his kid's knee. He's trying to make a connection, but he's not sure how.
Predictions. Where do we think the show is going to go from here?
Oh my gosh.
That's where I don't know. I felt like at the end of the episode, I just thought, what? I don't know what the point of the show is, because I feel like I know somebody died, but like that's it. I have no idea. I feel like I should watch things happen without like, I feel like I don't have a sense of direction as to what I'm supposed to be following. I don't know if people
agree with that.
I agree.
I kept getting really weird vibes at the end. Like at the very end, the very last scene with Shane and Rachel on the bed, it was just like, I felt like this weird vibe of like someone was like watching them, and I didn't like it.
I think because they want to position us in those awkward positions, I feel like we are also seeing awkward scenarios, but this was the first time that we were the Voyager, we were the pervs, we were the persons who were looking on the awkwardness. So I think it's kind of fitting that we leave this episode also feeling awkward, because that's, to me, the world that they created. And this is why I liked it so much, because what they were experiencing, we may not say it in real life, but we always think every one of those scenarios, we've taught it. we've thought about saying a lot of those things.
The relationship between Shane and Rachel is going to fall apart in some way. That's, I think, is the clearest, easiest prediction to make. I don't know how it's going to fall apart, but she's clearly unhappy. When they were hugging each other, like, we're going to stay young and in love forever. Yes, we'll always have many more moments like this. It was so weird.
I wonder if the dead body even matters. It hooked me at the beginning, but the way the episode ended, I didn't really care at that point. I was into the relationships and the characters, and to me, the dead body was second. I didn't care that I didn't find out anything more about that storyline at this point.
As I said in the first scene, it's very cringy. It's gonna stay cringy all season. But a more finer prediction is, I think Armand has something to do. It's gonna have something to do with his death. It's his place. It's his resort, and you can tell with that scene with Shane, he's gonna get his way no matter what. And this is his resort. It can't fuck up. There's so many chinks in the armor. There's a lot of crazy customers. Armand has a central piece in this plot. I don't know how, but I can't wait to see.
There's like death looming in different areas, and you can see it, and it's just like, well, when is this going to unfold? And it's very interesting.
All right, there is only one thing left to do, and that is to review. Each of you has sent me your ratings for this episode, 1 to 5, 1 meaning you hated it and 5 being you absolutely loved it. I have averaged all the numbers together, and it is time for me to reveal the results. Tonight, the panel has rated this episode as a 3.6. The people who loved it, talk about why you loved it.
Well, I loved it because
you made a 5?
Yeah, I loved it because in this world where we have, all these cancel cultures and we're so PR and this and that, it was nice to just be in a world where we could raise the red flag, but not in a way that's crossing the line. It's barely edging onto it. And that is what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the edge. Because I'll tell you really quickly, when I was at USC, William, there were things that I would fight on. Like there were things, because I'm in Trinidad right now, but I live in Trinidad and Los Angeles, but there were things that we do in Trinidad that were weird in LA, and I had to have one of my friends would be like, bro, don't say that, or don't do this, or don't
like hug. Could you give us an example?
Yeah, like for example, I remember I was talking to a student in our student office, and I think I probably laughed, and I go and I just like tapped the tip of her kneecap, and then the next day she was looking at me all awkward. I was like, are you okay, Stephen? I don't like you that way. I'm like, I don't either. What's going on? well, yesterday you touched the tip of my knee. But in Trinidad, we're so like, laugh and it's huggy. I mean, we dance on each other, even if I just met you. So that's why for me, I absolutely loved it, because I can see behind the counter and in front of the counter and understand the dynamic in what's important in that space and time and how to navigate each space. And I loved it. I loved it.
I thought it was fine. I mean, it was cool. It was all right. But like, I read a lot of like murder mystery books, and like they always start out with a murder in the beginning. So this was like par for the course. Let's see what happens next. Like, I didn't hate it. It didn't blow my mind, but there's a lot of table setting, like I said before. And I can see myself really liking this show, but we'll see what happens next.
I just don't know if the characters are going to grow and teach us something, besides just showing what the world is out there. And I'm kind of tired of seeing that dialogue all over. It's like, yeah, we see the rich, privileged person. Now I want like, okay, how do we grow from that, right? We already see it, we know it. I'm kind of bored of that.
I can't wait to see what happens. I can't give a 5 because I know there's some better episode, but close.
All right. Well, thank you, panelists. That concludes today's discussion of episode 1 of The White Lotus. Tune in next time to see what this panel thinks of episode 2. And if you're looking for more content, check out our panels discussing all 9 episodes of Squid Game. I highly recommend. And the 1996 horror movie classic Scream. I would like to thank the panelists for giving me their time tonight, and to the viewers watching at home, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are also on the podcast app, so type "Who Needs a Film Critic" to get all the episodes downloaded straight to your phone. That's all for now. I'm William Yelton, signing off. Woo! Perfect.